Welcome to Nature Walk, the podcast that takes you on a journey through the wonders of the natural world. I'm your host, David, and I'm delighted to have you join me today as we explore some of the most fascinating stories from the world of science and the environment. As we begin our walk, let's venture into the frozen landscapes of the Arctic, where a disturbing trend has been unfolding. A recent study has revealed that mercury levels in the Arctic are on the rise, despite global efforts to reduce emissions. This potent neurotoxin is not only harming the region's iconic wildlife, but also posing a significant threat to human health, particularly for indigenous communities who rely on traditional hunting practices. Imagine the Arctic Ocean, with its icy waters and majestic marine mammals, such as polar bears and seals. These creatures are at the top of the food chain, and as such, they accumulate high levels of mercury in their bodies. The study found that concentrations of mercury in polar bear tissues have doubled over the past 40 years, a striking trend that has left scientists concerned. But how does this happen? Mercury is primarily spread through human activities like burning coal or mining heavy minerals, which release the toxin into the environment. The Arctic, despite being a pristine and remote region, is not immune to the effects of global pollution. In fact, the natural patterns of the Earth's atmosphere and oceans tend to circulate pollutants toward higher latitudes, making the Arctic a hot spot for contamination. The consequences are far-reaching. Exposure to high concentrations of mercury can lead to neurological problems, kidney damage, and even affect fetuses in the womb. For indigenous communities, who have traditionally relied on hunting and fishing for their livelihood, the risks are particularly acute. Mercury advisories have led some communities to cut back on traditional food sources, resulting in a significant cultural loss. As we navigate this complex issue, it's essential to recognize that the problem of mercury pollution is not just an environmental concern, but also a human rights issue. The Inuit communities who have lived in harmony with the Arctic environment for centuries are now facing unprecedented challenges to their way of life. The good news is that there is global action underway to address the issue of mercury pollution. The Minamata Convention, signed by over 120 countries, aims to reduce mercury emissions and phase out its use in certain types of production. However, as Professor Niladri Basu notes, it may take centuries for the Arctic to recover from the damage already done. As we pause to reflect on this story, let's consider the interconnectedness of our planet and the far-reaching consequences of human activities. The Arctic, often seen as a remote and pristine region, is in fact closely linked to our global actions. As we strive to mitigate the effects of climate change and pollution, it's essential to recognize that our individual choices have a ripple effect on the world around us. We'll be right back with more fascinating stories from the natural world on Nature Walk. Welcome back to Nature Walk. I'm your host, David. As we continue our journey through the natural world, I'd like to take a brief detour into the realm of human innovation and creativity. Today, we're going to talk about something that may seem quite far removed from the forests, oceans, and wildlife that we typically explore on this show. But bear with me as we delve into the world of sneaker design and the latest release from Nike, the Air Jordan 14 Retro Challenge Red. Now, you might be wondering what sneakers have to do with nature or the environment. And at first glance, it may seem like a stretch. But let's take a closer look. The design of these shoes is inspired by Michael Jordan's love of fast cars, and the Ferrari-inspired colorway is certainly eye-catching. But what I find fascinating is the way that human creativity can draw inspiration from the natural world. Think about it. The sleek lines and aerodynamic shapes of sports cars are often inspired by the curves and forms of animals in nature. The way that a cheetah's body is streamlined for speed, or the way that a bird's wings are shaped for lift and agility. These are all examples of how nature has evolved to optimize performance and efficiency. And in the world of sneaker design, we see similar principles at play. The use of lightweight materials, the emphasis on comfort and support, and the attention to detail in the design of the shoe's silhouette. All of these elements are inspired by the same principles that govern the natural world. Now, I'm not suggesting that sneakers are a direct equivalent to the wonders of nature. But what I am saying is that human creativity and innovation can often be inspired by the natural world, even if it's not immediately apparent. So, as we take a look at these sleek new sneakers from Nike, let's remember that there's often more to the story than meets the eye. The intersection of human ingenuity and natural inspiration is a fascinating one, and it's something that we can learn from and appreciate. And who knows? Maybe the next time you're out for a walk in nature, you'll notice the way that the curves of a leaf or the shape of a branch inspire your own creativity and imagination. The natural world has a way of sparking our imagination and inspiring us to create something new and innovative. Stay tuned for our final story of the day, right here on Nature Walk. Welcome back to Nature Walk. I'm your host, David. As we conclude today's journey through the fascinating world of nature, I'd like to take a slight detour from our usual topics of wildlife and conservation. Today, we're going to explore how changes in human society can impact our relationships with animals and the environment. In recent news, there have been significant developments in family law that affect how pets are treated during divorce proceedings. This might seem unrelated to nature at first glance, but bear with me as we delve into the implications of these changes. The new laws recognize pets as a unique category of property, acknowledging the important role they play in many families. This shift in perspective means that courts can now consider the emotional ties between pets and their owners when deciding who gets to keep them. It's no longer just about who owns the pet, but also who has provided care and companionship. This change is significant because it reflects a growing understanding of the bond between humans and animals. As we've discussed in previous episodes, this bond can have profound effects on both human and animal well-being. By recognizing the emotional value of pets, the law is taking a step towards acknowledging the intricate web of relationships within ecosystems, including those between species. Moreover, these changes also address the economic consequences of family violence, including financial abuse. This is crucial because it recognizes that the impact of such abuse can extend far beyond human relationships, affecting the care and welfare of pets as well. By providing a clearer framework for addressing these issues, the law aims to create a more just and equitable environment for all members of a family, including the furry ones. As we consider the implications of these changes, it's essential to remember that our actions have ripple effects throughout the natural world. The way we treat animals, whether in our homes or in the wild, reflects our values as a society. By recognizing the inherent value of animal companionship and taking steps to protect their welfare, we're also contributing to a broader cultural shift towards compassion and empathy. That's all for today's Nature Walk. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, keep exploring your natural world.